My mouth is so dry. Hello, welcome to Story Jerk. My name is Sam, and on today's video we are doing Writer's Digest, and that's where I regurgitate all the narrative wisdom nuggets that I have gleaned from my month's worth of media consumption. Today we're going to be talking about four things. We're going to be talking about Dark Souls, the 2011 video game from FromSoft software. We're going to be talking about two Brian De Palma movies, Scarface and Blowout, and then we're going to be talking about an underrated gem. Just kidding, it's 30 or less. Far be it from me to say that YouTube needs another video about Dark Souls, but I'm happy to say I finally completed it. Fucking have that, you c***. In fact, I completed it twice. The theming in this game is excellent. Rather than the game sit you down and say, by the way, sun good, light good, darkness bad, or anything like that, it actually gets you to associate lightness with your own feeling of triumph and relief. The game starts off in a pretty bleak looking world that's overcast and looking quite scraggly with no light, and you have to fight yourself out of an asylum through a suburb filled with dead people until you finally, after beating your first boss and learning how to play the game, arrive on a balcony overlooking sunbeams of a beautiful landscape. And you even see a little chap called Knight Solaire, whose costume has a nice pretty childlike sun on it. You learn to like this guy because he's the NPC who's always there to help you fight the bosses, right? The only real NPCs you meet tend to be humans, and they're either like assholes who go insane, but there's two guys who are the guys you like. You've got Knight Solaire, the ultimate bro, and you have what's his name? The onion guy. I forgot. Sigmire, the onion guy. Most players end up doing actions which lead to the Knight Solaire's downfall. Knight Solaire, who loves the sun, don't forget, wants to find a light. He journeys to the bottom of the world map where all the demons are. Basically, a parasite overtakes his brain. His search for light ends up being the thing that makes him go crazy, and you have this horrible sensation of having to kill him because he's your bro and he's been with you the whole time. That plays on your heartstrings, right? And so not having that really shoved down the player's face means that you have this beautifully dense and rich interconnected world that doesn't feel like you're having to watch like a goddamn Game of Thrones summary video. Scarface with Al Pacino. I did see one review that said Al Pacino just overacts in a funny accent. That's why we love Al Pacino. You'll never see an Al Pacino movie where he isn't overacting or shouting in a funny accent. It's a film about excess. It's about a Cuban immigrant during the 80s who basically becomes a cocaine drug lord. You've seen the memes, you know the references, you know all that type of stuff. I thought the film was fine until the ending. The film does set up this explicit theming about how you got to watch your back and how someone's always coming to get you, and it only takes one person, and a kind of tortoise in the hare type of thing.
Here's a Yiddish word for pig. It's a guy, he wants more than what he needs. We don't fly straight no more.
1 hour later.
Remember I told you when you started, the guys who last in this business are the guys who fly straight.
The theming in Scarface falls on its face because it's too literal and it comes too late in the goofiest way possible. As Al Pacino's Scarface is shooting all the bad guys and his entire empire is falling down around him, and you see all the bodyguards and banditos falling over and jumping into swimming pools, right? There's this one hitman who wears a leather jacket, walks slowly, and wears sunglasses even at night. And you cut between Al Pacino shooting all the bad guys and this guy using a grappling hook to slowly abseil up the building where, like Agent 47 from the video game series, takes out Al Pacino. Come on, De Palma, you're better than this. Speaking of things that Brian De Palma is good at, we have Blowout with John Travolta. John Travolta plays a sound recordist who is working on a horror movie, and he goes out and he's filming? He goes out and he's recording stuff with his microphone when he accidentally captures what is eventually discovered to be the crucial piece of evidence in a political conspiracy. The theming, I would say, in this movie is to do with the sight and sound and truth and evidence. When the car first crashes in the water, John Travolta dives in to save the people in the submerging vehicle, but we as the audience see a shadowy figure emerge from under the bridge and run away, and it takes some time before John Travolta figures out who it is. But I think Blowout has the opposite problem with Scarface. Come on. It's over. It's okay. I'll let it out. It wasn't obvious what I was doing. So get this, John Travolta, he's telling this woman about how he used to be a cop who worked in the microphone department. The day he stopped being a cop was the day that one of his informants died because of him. He puts the wire on the guy, but the battery from the microphone burns him and the guy runs to the toilet to tear off the microphone. This alerts the mafia, they go in after him. John Travolta's like, I gotta save him, Saturday Night Fever. And they're like, no John, no. But he runs in and he discovers that his informant has been killed by the actual leads of the microphone. I think that's a little bit too much. But I can imagine when you're writing that story, you're kind of damned if you do and
damned if you don't.
As the storyteller, you're obligated to be consistent with the theming throughout. Even though as an audience member, I felt a little bit like, literally, he's actually killed by the microphone? Come on. To the filmmaker's credit, the final shot, I think, is a really great way to visually kind of bookend all of your theming, and it ends with John Travolta using the real murder scream of his ally in the actual movie of the slasher film he was working on, and the final shot is John Travolta covering his ears. Next we have 30 or Less. If you can't figure out how the movie should end by its actual premise, then I don't think you know anything about theming. 30 or Less is based on the rather tragic real life story of a pizza delivery guy who was discovered with a bomb around his neck in a kind of crazy ransom plot.
We forced some idiot to rob a bank for us.
Jesse Eisenberg, the guy who plays Mark Zuckerberg, plays a pizza delivery guy who's late with everything, right? He's late delivering the pizzas, he's late in life because he's immature and, his girlfriend needs him to grow up, blah, 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 blah. Halfway through, it kind of inverts itself, right? He gets rid of the bomb, and then it's like Jesse Eisenberg and his friends trying to take down the bad guys. But here's the thing. The movie ends with a car chase where Mark Zuckerberg, his girlfriend, and his little comedy friend are escaping, and the bad guys don't know the bomb or something is on their van and it blows up, right?
Let's break this down.
This movie is called 30 or Less, and it's about a delivery guy who is always late, not just for pizzas, but in life. And it's about a bomb. You have a race against the clock. What the ending should have been: Mark Zuckerberg's girlfriend has a bomb around her neck, and only Mark Zuckerberg can defuse the bomb. But he has to get to the bomb in time. He has to get there, say it with me now,
in 30 or Less.
If you've seen the movie North by Northwest, you'll remember that they tie up everything in like 3 shots. The girl is saved, the plot is resolved, and they consummate their newfound love. It could be the thing that the moment he takes the bomb off her neck, you match cut to her lifting the veil over her face, and hey, it's the wedding, let's all eat pizza. How that film got through the entire development process, and no one there was like, the ending needs to be him physically getting somewhere in 30 or Less, because that's the name of the movie, and that's the character's problem. I can only imagine they decided,
that's too obvious.
I guess what I'm saying is not everything can be like Dark Souls. Not everything can be a beautiful video game that takes me 15 years to complete. As always, leave your comments below about what you want me to cover in my next month's Writer's Digest. Subscribe because we've got some cool videos coming out, and I'll see you next time.